Leaving up a picture that angers my MIL? I, 25F, married my husband Joe, 27M, 4 months ago. We dated all through high school and college, so we have been in each other's lives and in each other's families for quite some time. Joe's father died when we were seniors in high school, and his sister Jill died 3 years ago. Since then, his mother, Jean, has been, in my opinion, unhinged. I cannot imagine her sense of loss, and I know everyone has their own grief process, so I really try not to judge, but she makes everything about her grief. She didn't come to our college graduation because she would never get to see Jill graduate from college. We try to be especially kind to her on Mother's Day, but she spends hours at the cemetery and gets very irate if we leave before she's ready to. She insists we give our first child her husband's name as a first or middle name and gets angry when we say we'll name our future children as we see fit. There have been other incidents, too. She's done so much to push Joe away while also relying on him for emotional and sometimes financial support. They have a very unhealthy relationship now. It came to a head when we were wedding planning. I invited her to come wedding dress shopping with me, my mom, my grandma, and my maid of honor. I told her she did not need to come if it was going to be painful for her, but she said she would be happy to. To all our surprise, she came and brought a wedding gown that Jill had purchased to save for her own wedding someday. She said it would help her if I tried it on, and I did, which made her cry, but then she insisted that it was my dress and I didn't need to get another one. After multiple refusals, she pouted the rest of the time. It was so awkward for everyone. This led to a lot of drama, to the point where Joe, and me, but mostly Joe, did not want her at the wedding because we couldn't trust her to not cause some kind of scene and because we thought it would be terrible for her mental health. We asked her not to come and she agreed not to. I got to have a dance with my dad, and my mom surprised Joe by stepping in for a mother's dance with him. They smiled and laughed the whole time. It was the most special part of our wedding, to me. I recently changed my FB cover photo to a picture of Joe and my mom dancing and laughing. Jean saw this and has been coming at us for it, saying it's just a reminder that she was excluded from her son's wedding day. I told her I'm not taking it down and that if she doesn't want to see it, she can simply not look at my FB. She says I am inconsiderate of her feelings and that I am an R for this because it drives another wedge between her and her son. Comment 1. At this point I think you should use it as a bargaining chip. You guys need to keep her at arm's length until she gets into grief counseling with a therapist and meets with a therapist long term. Until she is working with a grief therapist, every event will become like your wedding did. You want this dealt with before a child is in the picture. Truly. NTA. Comment 2. Gentle ESH. She sounds annoying AF and very self-centered. But for the photo, I think it is, hopefully unintentionally, spiteful to put up a picture where your mom served in his mom's place in the wedding. Yes, she misbehaved herself out of an invitation, but she kept her word and agreed not to come. In her place, I would think it's pretty mean of you to display a picture that will always remind her that she wasn't part of such a big day in his life, but because it's your FB photo of your husband and mom. A family wedding photo where she isn't there is more justifiable. Ike, I think it seems petty. Comment 3. I think it's quite awful to use a picture of Joe and your mom dancing and laughing. I think it's in poor taste. I would think she could benefit tremendously if she got therapy. It wouldn't be a bad idea to get family therapy. She is still grieving the death of her daughter. Expecting you to wear her Jill's wedding dress is weird. If you are concerned about her mental health, then why post a picture of your mom laughing and dancing with your husband? Telling my mom she lied to my stepsister and doesn't get to throw me under the bus for something I wasn't a part of? It was just my mom and me, 17F, for the first 11 years of my life. Then she met Kane and they got married. Kane has a daughter Mia who is 8 now. She was 2 when my mom and Kane got married. So I wasn't super into the idea of mom and Kane. I liked it being just the 2 of us. Things were good and I didn't like Kane all that much. I guess he's fine. But he's very Cocky and believes he is way more important than he is. He has talked for years about how miserable I was not having a man in the house and how I was a miserable, struggling kid because I had a single mom and no dad. None of this is true, but he likes to believe it is. But anyway, he's always had this cocky attitude that I didn't vibe with, and I was happy with it being just mom and me. Then one day we had mine and mom's family and Kane's family over. My mom got really into filming every moment after meeting Kane, and she was recording us all that day. Then she and Cade asked me how I would feel if they got married in front of everyone and if I wanted that. I told them I didn't and I liked it being just me and mom. Mom recorded the whole thing. They even asked if I wasn't excited to be Mia's big sister, and I said no. Again, I was 11. And again mom recorded the whole thing. It was awkward. My grandparents told mom 2 or 3 times to turn off her camera, and mom just kept recording as I showed my disinterested in the idea of them getting married. Mom and Kane got married anyway and life moved on. It's okay. It's not terrible. I would not say life is better because of it though. Still not that into Kane either. I think someone really needs to take him down several notches with the cockiness. Apparently mom and Kane told me for years that I had really wanted us to be a family and I had always wanted to be her sister. They said I had given my blessing for the wedding and my number one reason was I wanted her. I think you get where this is going. Mom got the recording of the day they asked me for my blessing onto a USB with other home movies she shot. Mia was looking through mom's many home movies and saw that one, and she was so upset. She asked me if I had wanted her as a sister back then, and it came out of nowhere, so I asked what she was talking about. It upset her more, and mom was home and she went to her then. Mom then told her that I had lied about that stuff over the years and she was so sorry she heard all that and stuff. Then she told her that they had wanted to protect her from me and all kinds of other stuff and to shield her from the truth. I waited until Mia wasn't around and I confronted mom and told her she does not get to call me a liar when I have never lied. I told her she was the liar and she threw me under the bus for something I had no part in. Mom yelled at me and said none of this would be happening if I'd been happier and embraced our family back then. She told me she was doing her best with Mia, who didn't need to have her heart shattered by me. Comment 1. NTA, your mother didn't have to lie at all. There was never any reason to tell your stepsister that you always wanted to be her big sister, etc., and if she was going to lie to her, then she should have deleted that video or edited your part out. This is 100% on your mother. Comment 2. NTA. Your mother doesn't have the courage to look facts in the eyes. It is all there on the USB stick, yet she refuses to take it in. That is not your fault. If you choose to make a distance between your mother and yourself later on, maybe go low contact or no contact with her and Kane, it will be her own fault. If people ask her, she will tell them that she doesn't understand it. Although it is all there for her to see, staring her in the face. Comment 3. NTA. None of this would have happened if she hadn't married Kane. Not that it would specifically be better or worse in total. But it wouldn't be happening. It is just a nonsensical way to attribute responsibility for the current state of things. Yesterday someone got in a car accident. If they had left the house 5 minutes earlier, they would not have even been in that spot to get into the accident. But that delay is not the cause of the accident. Excluding my adopted sister from family photos. I am 26F and my adopted sister Ally is 14F. The way we're related is that my younger brother Michael, 24M, has been with his wife Maya, 24F, since their freshman year of high school. Maya and Ally had a really bad home life and my mom is very much a my home open to everyone type of person, so over that year Maya began spending more and more time at our house, eventually bringing Ally over as well since he was always babysitting. By the time Michael and Maya were 16 years old, Maya basically lived in the guest room and Ally spent after school, most weekends, holidays, and summer vacation at our house. My mom and dad say that they love both Maya and Ally like their own children. My other siblings, 18M and 16F, also treat her like she's a part of the family. Even after Maya and Michael moved out, Ally is still at their house the same amount, if not more than she was before. Now to preface, I have nothing against Ally. She's a good kid and I make an effort to be nice to her. However, I've never really liked how she was foisted into our lives. She's not actually adopted and she still has parents and her own family. Yet my parents spend so much time and resources on her, it's ridiculous. Everyone else has started unironically calling her their daughter or sister and I've refused. I just don't consider her to be family. Anyways, I got married recently, which is where the issues start. I invited Ally to the wedding, of course, and she came with all of my other family. When we were doing pictures of the wedding parties, I decided that I wanted one with all of my immediate family, so my parents, my siblings, and Maya and Michael's daughter. My mom brought Ally up to come take the picture with us and I was forced to tell her no. My mom started to get upset but then Ally said it was okay and sat down by herself. My mom isn't a very confrontational person so she didn't make a big deal of it but then everyone else realized that Ally wasn't there and they got mad as well. Ultimately, we took the photo how I wanted it because they didn't want to do this at my wedding but my entire family is pissed at me now. My mom said that Ally cried when she got home because I don't love her, which I don't. I feel like they forced into a position where I had to do an asshole thing by forcing this kid onto me. I don't think I should have to consider her family if I don't want to. Edit, after the ceremony but before the reception, the wedding party and both of our close families took photos. I did not include Ally in this photo session and she sat with the rest of the regular guests waiting for dinner. I did not intentionally exclude her from any of the photos taken. I'm sure she's in some of them from throughout the night especially because she was there with my family. I hope that clears some things up. Comment 1. You said this girl has been living with you and your family for 8 of her 14 years, since you're 24 your brother was 16. More than half of her life, and basically a third of yours. That is a long time. On top of that you let her sister in the picture. You say you wanted a picture with your immediate family but included Maya, the girl's sister, and Maya's daughter, the girl's niece, who, despite being the spouse and child of your brother, would not be considered immediate family. You basically included every important person in this girl's life in the picture, but not her. In normally very much on the side of it's your wedding, it's your call but this seems like you are being unnecessarily cruel to a child that clear is in an already horrible situation. Comment 2. I'm kinda torn with this one. Are you an asshole for wanting your wedding and pics the way you want with the people you consider family? No. Could you have handled this better? Yeah. But either way you'd have been the bad guy because everyone else values her as a sister whereas you don't. This was a no-win situation for you. You don't have to love her. You don't have to treat her like family. But you didn't have to make it clear how you felt in this manner. Have you exhibited a whole behavior? Yeah. Maybe. But I think your family has too because they're attacking you for not having the relationship they want you to have with her. So. ESH except for the kid. Telling my friend she is ungrateful about being a stay-at-home mom? The other day, I went to lunch with 4 mom friends of mine. I'm a Zam and so is one of the other moms. Of the other 3, one works part-time and the other 2 full-time. One of the moms that works full-time mentioned about how they had started to pay for a cleaner to come in every other week. They both work full-time and have 2 kids and were finding they couldn't keep up with all the chores. The other Zam was agreeing with her about finding it difficult to keep the house clean when her husband does only a few chores inside the house. She told us her husband's main jobs are cooking dinner, cleaning the bathrooms, and looking after the yard. In my opinion that's a more than fair distribution of chores considering her husband works full-time. They have 1 child, 10F, and no pets. I mentioned to her that it actually sounded pretty fair and that my husband has 0 cleaning chores and mostly only cooks on the weekends if he wants. I told her as he works full-time to provide for our family, I consider it my job to do the majority of the household chores. This isn't gender-related in my opinion, If we both worked, I would agree about splitting chores equally, or if I worked and he didn't, I would be expecting him to do the majority of the housework. I have 5 children, the youngest 2 aren't in school, and I'm a carer for my husband's grandmother, yet still it's easy to set aside a couple hours a day for household chores. She strongly disagreed with me, and she thinks her husband should be doing more and told me couples should split housework equally. I told her that I think she's being ungrateful to her husband, who allows her to be a Zam even now their child is older. I asked her what she does all day if she expects him to do half the chores, and that she just wants an excuse to be lazy. In the end, lunch was ruined. She called me anti-feminist and in a hole. 2 of our friends took her side, telling me off for judging her. Was I the a-hole here? I feel like I was pointing out the obvious. Comment 1. 2 of our friends took her side, telling me off for judging her. You were judging her. Both of you Zams have individual arrangements with your husbands that, more or less, work for each of you. Yours seems to mesh quite nicely with your personal values about how work should be split up between you and your husband. But rather than accepting that hers is different and that she may change more, you compared yourself to her and conveyed your own moral superiority by calling her ungrateful, YTA. Comment 2. I'm a Zam too, but my youngest kids are only 1 and 4. I'm pretty busy. But having one kid who's already 10 years old, and obviously is at school all day, how busy could she possibly be? When my older kids were that age, I had a lot more time for things. It sounds like her husband does his fair share. Maybe telling her this at a group lunch wasn't the best idea, but it came up, so I get why you said something. Unless she is somewhat disabled or has another reason she can't cover most of the housework, I'm going with NTA.
Telling my DL she wasn't invited since she is an embarrassment at dinner since she is a picky eater. My son's on my ass, so I am writing here for different opinions. My son has been married for 2 years at this point. We get along as well as water and oil. I just keep my distance because I don't like dealing with her. She is a horrible picky eater. I don't know why, but truly I don't care because she is a pain at restaurants. We try to go anywhere and we have to change places multiple times, so she can have something to eat. She makes the waiters go through hoops so she will have something she likes, and if anything is wrong she will bitch about it, or pout in the corner. Example, she got a quesadilla, removed everything on it, and when it came out she sent it back because there was sour cream on the side. It wasn't touching anything and she made a huge deal about her food being wrong. She doesn't have allergies either. What really made me dislike her is that she complained about the food at a funeral. They had a sandwich spread, but went on about its gross multiple times. So I had a dinner yesterday and I invited everyone but my son's wife. Son wasn't invited either, but he was on a business trip. My other Dill posted it online and I got a call from Dill. She was I didn't invite her and asked why. I told her it's due to her being an embarrassment at dinners and I won't be inviting her to dinners. She called me a J and hung up. Now my son is on my A and I am wondering if I should apologize or not. Comment 1. NTA. She openly complained about the sandwich spread at a funeral. That's all you have to point out to her, and to your son, and to anyone else who challenges you on this. She either behaves at mealtime like a decent human being or you, for one, will not be inviting her to dinner. Comment 2. NTA. She can't even shut up about the food at a funeral. Talk about disrespectful. You already said you are like water and oil. I would just ignore her. Maybe next time say something like, I know you don't like this food and that's why she is not invited, to spare her feelings because she doesn't like the food, instead of her being the obnoxious hag she is.